Okay, so now we have our collar piece sewn. And the next thing to do is to get your iron and press up the lining, the seam allowance width. So press it up 1/4 inch, and this will make life easier later on. So just be sure you do that. And also, I like to cut the corners off of my the seam allowance because I think it makes for nicer corners and it won't get too bulky later on. That's what I like to do. Did on both sides, just a little snip. And we flip it. A little tug so the seams open up real nice. This would be another good time to press the fabric. This may want to be top stitched later on if you find that it keeps rolling or moving. Some people like to interface their collars, which you can definitely do. Some fusible interfacing is not required, not necessary. You can still make a collar without it. I've got a nice collar. Alright, so now we're going to attach it to the cape. I've only cut out a really teeny tiny version of the cape. See, it's the same, the neck hole is the same, it's just much smaller obviously, because I didn't want to cut out a big one. Okay, so you want to find the center back of the cape, so simply just fold it in half. I've already made a mark with chalk there, just to make life easier. So that's going to be my starting point. I'm going to let this flop open just like that. I'm going to do this with the cape facing me. I might find it a little bit easier. So I'm going to line up that center back seam with my center back mark on the cape. Right sides together, of course. Get your pins out. Right there. Now, if we were following the other directions, you would have the lining of your cape. I didn't feel like doing that. So you would line up the edges. You're going to line up the edge of the cape to your seam there. All your edges even. I like to get all my my ends, my center, anything with marking points that are going to line up. I like to pin those first and then work backward to the other pieces. Because sometimes you need to fiddle with the fabric. Sometimes one fabric will stretch more than another, so there needs to be a little bit of finessing. This is a polyester. I think it's some sort of polyester jersey, so it has a little bit of give to it. So I can make this fit. If one of your pieces isn't fitting, if it looks like one is just a little bit smaller than the other, you could just really you could just make tiny little clips with the very edges of your scissors, just teeny tiny little, no more than 1/4 inch, because that's going to be your seam allowance. So thank you, assistant. So you don't want to clip into your seam, you just want a little bit of the fabric to open up. I find it easier to have everything pinned before I take it to the sewing machine. It just makes life easier. So it's all pinned now, and then I'm going to bring it over to the machine.